Hello, how is everybody tonight?
Aloha.
Hello, let me just get this into. There we go. Should have you now. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Say
I love
hi to Alex, aka Lady Drewniak. What's up?
Hi, babes. How you doing?
So good. So good to see you.
So bloody good to see you too. I'm just shimmying my desktop around, so I've got your face on my left, and I'm not looking at mine.
Yeah. What up to everybody in the chat? I can see you all guys here nice and early. It's so good to see you all. Please welcome Alex. She's a dear friend of mine. This has been a bit of a long time coming. There's been a few requests to have you on the stream. I know I've just seen Brittany Long, and she was definitely one that was telling me to get you for a while. So super excited. I just saw Luella DeVille in the chat. OMG. What up, Luella? Nice to see you here. What up to everybody? I can see a lot of long time loyal Twitch fam in the chat tonight. How are you all going? Good to see you. I had technical difficulties tonight, Alex, and it was, we got there.
Amazing. People joining in on this.
Yeah, so many people. Got Alexia from Mexico. Hi from Mexico. That's cool. Got Glow Beaten, my absolute soulmate, my Twitch guy, my best friend, my everything, and he's here in the chat tonight. He hasn't been in a stream for a little while, so it's great to see him. Devon's in the chat. Super excited to see Dev Dog here. Kenzie, we've got Britt, we've got Ash. What up, Ash? Nice to see you here. Dad's like Butter. It was great to catch your stream before, Butter. Hope you're doing okay. Ines, long time no see. Ines and Arcia as well. Good to see you guys here. Mika, what up, Gypsy J? What up, Sly Dog Boogie? Oof. We've got Jack, who just shaved his head today as well. Jack's got a new haircut, so great to see Jack in the chat. And I think is that everybody? Oh, no, Cherie is my best mate. My other best mate is streaming at the same time as me. We both started streaming at the exact same time.
That's hilarious.
Oh, we've got an early subby. Oh my God. And 5 gifted subbies just to start off the stream. We're going to... Let's get that hype train going straight away. I forgot to mention that part, Alex. Sometimes...
Yeah. Explain to me.
Yeah, so sometimes we get subscriptions to the channel, which is always an amazing event. But someone, who was that? Sly Dog Boogie just gifted 5 subscriptions to the channel. So he gifted other people subscriptions in the channel, which is an ultra special event. So thank you so much for that, Sly Dog. I really, really appreciate it. That's super, super, super exciting. Frank from Hawaii just joined the chat as well. Nice to see you here. Thank you so much. Guys, we're going to get an early hype train. My God. The last 2 streams have been incredibly hype. Yes.
Sick.
Yeah, there's been a lot of gifted subscriptions in the channel. So
That's awesome.
the other news, Alex, that Mika just mentioned. So I mentioned a little while ago, kind of as a joke, because I didn't think it was possible. But I said, if I ever get to 300 subscriptions with this channel, that I would get a Join the Crew tattoo.
Stop it. How far off are you?
I'm at 308.
Tattoo.
Looks like a tattoo is coming. It's happening. It's like, Adam just said it's happening. Louis, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Sly Dog gifted a bunch of subs, so McHappy Neil, nice to see you here as well. Yeah, it's definitely happening. I have to just decide where the tattoo is going to be, so that's the
And
next step.
I kind of want to be a part of the process too. Like, I want to see it happen.
Sure, maybe you could come document it for me. So
Yeah.
Pamela, so nice to see you here as well. Alex will be all about the tattoo, absolutely. She shares a mutual love of tattoos like myself, so.
Totally.
Awesome. I'm going to put you on the big screen so we can, I'm going to swap me and you so people can see your lovely face. Up close and personal.
Here we go.
So lovely to chat to you. I want everybody to get to know you a little bit. So could you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got into photography? I'd love to get your a little bit of a background on your career so far.
Of course. First of all, hello everybody. This is my very first time ever on Twitch. I might be a little bit Neanderthal or not as cool as everybody might think, so please bear with me. So photography for me kind of started, I think, actually a little bit late. I was about 20. I'm from
20.
Adelaide.
I love that you say that when I started in my 30s, but you're like, yeah, I started late.
Are you joking?
I was 31 when I started.
Okay, well, that blows my mind. No idea. I'm just used to all of these juvies at 13, 14 picking up cameras.
I know, that is the usual thing. So juvies are like
Sorry, I know. So I'm 20 was late for me.
Yeah.
Everyone else is kind of shooting already, and I come from a little bit of a music background, so just naturally started in the clubs. I'm from Adelaide, so I had residencies at a bunch of different nightclubs and basically just learned how to shoot drunk people and DJs, and it was hectic, but also the actual scene itself is you're under pressure. You have so many variables. You got crazy lights. You got drunk people. You can really, I think, learn how to shoot pretty quickly in that kind of environment.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I had a similar experience when I first started doing clubs as well. I completely agree. I think it's a great intro to just throw you in the deep end and you've got to make it work.
you just got to make it work, and there's the punters, and it's the artists that are there, and then there's the management, and there's so many humans that you're interacting with, and also under the influence, so you're kind of holy moly. But yeah, it put me it threw me into the deep end, and I'm so grateful for that experience. I don't shoot much of it these days purely because I'm now 31 and I'm a bit of a grandma, and I can't deal with alcohol being spilled on my camera.
Fair enough.
I'm don't touch me.
Yeah. Absolutely. While you're talking, I'm actually going to show a little bit of your work, so I'm just going to pop that up right now. But I think the intro to music photography, as in being someone that's interested in music, I completely resonate with that as well. I was also a musician growing up, and I feel like there's definitely something about being able to relate to musicians. Would you agree with that? Because you were a musician, so you kind of get the vibe or something?
Yeah, I think it's so I come from a musical upbringing. I studied piano and violin at school. I'm classically trained in piano, and I kind of did it my whole life. And come end of year 12, I just felt like classical wasn't my path, but still really wanted to be involved with music because I'd done it for 14 years already at that age. And for me, shooting music it just comes so naturally because I understand what the artist is doing, because I've been on that side as well. And from a performance perspective, and I know I've spoken to Michelle about this before, but even something so interesting about when you're shooting a stage and live performance, and I touched on the variables of lights changing, and I basically the understanding of the rhythm of the music, or the drop that's going to happen, and I'm really in tune with the production side of stuff, because and the beat of the music and all that kind of stuff. So when I'm in the pit shooting, I'm it's in affinity with me. I can feel it in my heart. I can feel it in my body. And I feel like that education has really helped me.
Yeah.
I also have appreciation for the artist.
Yes.
As performing, I understand their like just how they're feeling, and that relationship with the artist as a photographer, as you would know, is one to be so nurtured, and it's very delicate and it's very vulnerable at times. And coming from that, I feel a sense of immediate trust with an artist. I'm like, I get you. I know what you might be feeling in this moment, you know?
Absolutely. That's a word that I use all the time, actually, when describing what we do. Like the trust is such a big part of Yo, Glow, thank you so much for the 9-month subby. Really appreciate it. He's my day oneer. He's my original OG day oneer, 9 months. That means I've been streaming for 9 months, so that's very exciting.
Yay!
But I totally resonate with that. It's the word that I probably use the most, is like establishing trust with the people that you're working with. So, yeah. Specifically, music artists are quite, it can be quite sensitive and vulnerable as well. So, like, establishing that from the start means a really great relationship, and they're going to let you into those moments that are really beautiful to document as well.
Yeah, some of those like relationships are forged over years, you know, years and years. Like, you know, some artists that I've worked with when I was 19, I was a little bit young and dumb and loud and annoying and too pushy perhaps at times. And over the years of working with these people and just taking my time and letting my work speak for itself and shutting my mouth a little bit and watching more and saying less and you know, that kind of stuff. I've been working with some of these people now for years, like George Maple, for example. Like, we did a gig when I was 19 and I was like, woohoo!
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh God, thank God. Now she's like one of my best mates.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
Things take time.
Yeah, let's take a step back to when you first started, because this is a question that I get a lot, that transition from, you know, picking up a camera, maybe doing some stuff at clubs and stuff, but to get to the point where you're doing it full time. What were your steps to kind of, you know, establish yourself as an artist and trying to get that regular client base? Because I think that's the biggest hurdle that people have. It's the thing that I get asked the most, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard. I'm not going to pretend like it's easy. It's hard. I was a hustler. I was like, so from Adelaide originally, I stopped the clubs. I'd had a little bit of a network. I went through a shitty breakup, and within 5 days I moved to Melbourne. And my best friend lived here, and I was sleeping on a blow-up mattress in the spare room, and I was like, cool, I don't know anyone here. I've got no network whatsoever. I don't even know where to start, but I literally just said that I was available constantly. And I started up a blog, made myself accountable for the work that I was shooting. Obviously, the gram stuff started to simmer away over here. Any client from Adelaide, I was like, do you have a branch in Melbourne? Do you have a connect? Can you pass anyone over? I went to so many meetings with no guarantee of anything. I was just like, yep, I'll be there. Yep, I'm coming. Can I meet this person? When I was out and about, I was like, and I'm a photographer. Do you ever need a photographer?
Yeah. Just spruiking yourself all the time.
Just constantly. Yeah, just because I was like, I need to meet people. I need to get it out there, right? So then from that point, I suppose I was doing a little bit of music marketing stuff on the side. I come from, and that was like my formal education. I come from marketing background, music marketing background. And I was like, I worked for Stereosonic, and that's also kind of showing my age. But basically, I then started to hit up these people. Well, okay, so I was hitting up these people, being like, I kind of want to shift from club stuff to festival work, a little bit more, just larger scale events and stuff like that. And then at some point I was literally like, I need to ditch the actual like if I'm going to have a shot at this to be full time as a photographer, I kind of need to completely take a risk and ditch the marketing part of my world, because I was relying on that little bit of cash from there and shooting on the side, and I was like, oh my God, I think I just need to bite the bullet and just like kind of resign, I suppose, from that area completely.
Yeah.
Because, like, just to be quite frank, when you remove that source of income, you shit yourself.
Yeah,
and you're like,
absolutely.
and you're like, cool, you're forcing yourself literally to change route and go into another direction. And I needed to do that. And at, 24, 25, I had the balls to do that. And I just, now when I think about it, it scares me. But at 25, I was like, no, I am not doing that anymore. And I'm going in this direction. And I kind of put all my eggs in one basket. But yeah, it was really, really scary.
Yeah, I absolutely relate to so much of that. I just wanted to say what up to Jimmo. Thanks for the subby. Let's fucking go. Nice to see you here. I really appreciate it. We've got Alex, aka Lady Drewniak, with us tonight. Absolutely relate a couple of things that you said. The basically desperation, have to make it work, all eggs in one basket, go full time. Like, what the fuck? That's my entire story basically. So there's something about, I think, when you're all in and it has to work.
Yeah.
Like, you don't actually have another option. Like, this has to work.
Yeah, totally. It is. It's like, it's this or nothing, or this you're eating noodles.
Yeah. And also that, I think it's also why I always love, we've known each other I knew of you before, when you were in Adelaide, and then I met you obviously when you came to Melbourne, but I definitely always saw a little bit of myself in you, in that hustle, that relentless hustle, because it was exactly what I had been always doing as well. And I appreciate when I see that, because there's a lot of people that don't realize how hard you have to work to make this a career, and you definitely realize that. Like, you were always working.
Thanks. Okay, by the way, that means the world to me. Just so that you guys know that Michelle was up here for me and is still up here for me. And when I was living in Adelaide, Michelle did a book launch at this club called Rocket. And I was at Rocket Bar, and she was there, and I was like to my friends, I'm going to this thing. I don't care if any of you are not interested, but I'm going because is they're doing a book launch and I need to meet this chick. I was there and you were there, and I was like, I'm like a fanned out, and I was like, I need to let you know that I'm like one of your biggest fans, blah blah blah. So for you to say that, I know, but for you to say that, it means a lot, babe, and you have honestly been a big inspiration in that hustling sense, and in the music, and in female music photography in particular. Really have led the way.
I super appreciate that as well, because there are not a lot of female music photographers, and I do try to be that for other people as well. I do try to be inspiring, and also just be a person that you can go to if you've got questions. And we work from the same studio now, which has always been great, because that's where we get to bump into each other occasionally, ships in the night when we're there, which has always been great. Jack just said, is this when Rise was launched? Yeah, that was back in that was 2014, so that was quite a few years ago.
Baby.
Yeah, I wasn't really a baby, but it's when it was, definitely when it was launched. Britt said, the two of you are both my biggest inspirations. Blessed to call you both my friends. Brittany, you are a sweetheart. You're an absolute sweetheart.
Love you, Britt.
Another person that has that just relentless work ethic and drive. I definitely think when you see that in other people, you really recognize it and try and help those people as much as possible. So,
100%. When you totally agree with that, by the way, when you see those qualities and that work ethic, you're like, I want to help. I want to be, yeah.
What up, Kiki? I've just seen Kiki in the chat. Kiki's in New York, and I know for a fact it is stupid o'clock. It's got to be 4 o'clock in the morning or something crazy like that. So nice to see you here. Frank's just going to say said goodbye. It is. It's probably, what is it, Frank? There, is it midnight, or is it? It's some crazy time in Hawaii as well. So thanks for being here for a short period of time. Really appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, kinda.
Glow said, nothing more inspiring than powerful goddess energy working in unison solidarity. Queen shit. That's what I like to hear.
Thank you.
Glow's the best.
So nice.
And Betty's just arrived. He's the official hype man of the stream. He's here, so I feel like he's arrived. It's gonna be hype from here. Nice to see you, Benny. Another person that's actually a fan, back since the Rise days as well. So yeah, he's an OG. Now you've done something that's really interesting, I think, where and I haven't seen that many photographers do this successfully, and I think you do it really well in that you've made yourself like a brand almost outside of the photography. And I'd love to talk to you about like how that kind of happened, and if you like the word influencer or not, or but I guess, you know, and talking a little bit about how you combine your love of fashion and your work with fashion into, I guess, your whole brand.
Okay. So no, I don't like the word influencer.
I hate it as well. So
it's because of like it literally because I'm like, what do I influence? How do I influence? I feel like people that influence are like massive artists or like you know, I feel like that word influencer should be regarded for maybe people with far larger like, don't want to step on any toes, talents and shit like that. Anyway, but basically I went on tour with an artist when I was 25 years old called Tiger Lily, who had a massive following, and I basically kind of got intertwined in her social life a little, quite publicly, as her tour manager and photographer. And it got to the point where like it was Dara and Alex doing these things together. So there was quite a storytelling component, and very quickly my followers like rose. I found really quite hectic, to be quite frank. Like it's
can relate, yes.
Yes, as you would know. So I kind of was like, whoa. But a lot of the time, to be honest, people were following me to get the backstory of her, right? The inside scoop.
Can also relate.
Yeah. So it wasn't about me. And to be honest, when Dara and I actually went our separate ways, obviously followers dropped off, and I'm hoping that where I'm sitting right now is a really genuine representation of people that care about me and my work, instead of just the goss and all the other bits and pieces. But I just had to make a decision, I suppose, from that influencer perspective about what I wanted to share with people and what I wanted people to look at my page for. Yeah. And for me, that is, I kind of like looked at it from like a marketing perspective. I was like, what are my pillars? What are my messages? What do I want people to look at me and care about? And that is photography from a creative perspective and a tech perspective. Yeah. And fashion, because I dig it. I'm streetwear. I'm a Nike girl, and I like sharing that part of my world as well. And fitness. I love running and being active, and mental health as well. Yeah. So I kind of feel like those are the areas that I would like to communicate, and I just try to stick to that, to be honest, so that I don't get led astray or like all that kind of stuff. I'm like, that's my message, that's what I care about. So like, follow me if you're into that stuff too.
That's so funny. Benny's just said controversial Nike versus Adidas, because I am a massive, and I'm wearing it tonight, I'm a massive Adidas fan. I'm always wearing Adidas on stream. So it's so funny that you said that. But yeah, that's hilarious.
I have in the back there on that side like 6 like the sickest retro Adidas jumpers that I can't wear anymore because I'm endorsed by Nike, and I'm like,
mate, I'll buy them off you.
no.
I will buy them off you. And what up to Karen Wu, who just joined the chat as well. So nice to see you, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
So good. She said Nike. I thought all Aussies said Nike. Well, there's some of us say Nike and some of us say Nike. I would say the majority actually says Nike, but you know.
Whoopsies.
Drewniak out here just, you know.
I'm just like running my own.
You're running your own shit.
Yeah.
No, that's really interesting to hear too, because it's something that's just started to happen to me. Like, you know, I'm getting approached to do more stuff as well, and working out. A lot of it just doesn't sit right with me brand-wise. I guess it's completely off-brand for me and stuff. So it's like picking those things that, you know, that tell a story that fit into what I want to be, my message and all that sort of stuff. So I completely relate to that.
There's a lot of bullshit, and there's a lot of noise out there, and there's a lot of like disposable shit, and it's like just like clear it out and stick to the main messages, you know?
Yeah, and Mafia's just joined the chat as well. So yo, nice to see you here, Mafia.
Mafia!
We love you. Excuse me, puppies. That's enough. Do we say Adidas or Adidas? I say Adidas, but it's very American to say Adidas. Yeah. Yo, this dude in this photo. That's how do you say his name?
Faraz.
Yeah. He is ridiculously good looking. Bit of a hottie. So I'd love to talk to you a little bit about your. You've got a Leica ambassadorship now. Like, how did that come about? How did that relationship start, and how are you finding working with such a prestigious kind of brand in the photography world?
It happened really organically. I was actually not quite familiar with like that brand alignment kind of stuff, especially with like camera brands themselves. I happened to be on a job, and the Leica Australia marketing manager was on the job. And she saw me working, and she came up to me afterwards and she gave me her business card and was like, got a couple of things happening in the pipeline. Have you ever shot on these cameras? And I was like, no, never. And she's like, well, maybe we can get you in for a job. I'll give you a camera for 2 weeks to try out, and we'll just see how the relationship goes from there. So I literally went and shot an exhibition at the Leica store here in Melbourne, and I had been given the camera 10 days earlier, and it was the SL1, fully customizable.
Wow.
Completely the interface was just completely different, and I was holding this thing like, oh my god, I have no idea what I'm doing. Obviously the same things apply across all of the brands, but it's like it takes ages to like develop that muscle memory, that and like the ability to be like work fast, read the play, all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, oh my god. But I kind of customized it, to be honest, to be the most like a Canon camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew what I was doing, and then I went and shot this gig, and they liked it, which was awesome. And then I ended up shooting 2 more exhibitions of other photographers for them, and then I just got called in for a meeting one day, and they said, we have a little bit of an opportunity coming up that we just wanted to float the idea with you. A new camera is being released, and generally we align it with a person, a figure, and we give the camera to them 6 weeks out from when it hits the market, so that they get the chance to test it and test out all the capabilities under a bunch of different environments. And like, one, would you be interested? And two, if so, we're also going to send you to Germany to get some formal education and visit. I was just like, I'm trying to be professional, like, yep, keep going, yep. And
Yeah, just go to Germany. Like, just send me.
let's go. But basically, yeah, I was like, yep, this sounds like a really, really good option for me. At right time, blah blah blah. But to be quite honest, they were in need of. The brand does have a little bit of a reputation of sometimes being quite unattainable because of the price of the equipment. Like a bit of a dad brand. It is incredibly prestigious, and the history behind the brand is like incredible, but sometimes considered so unattainable.
Yes.
And because I'm a personable human, I'm female, I work in music and fashion, I'm from Australia, they were like, we think that you would be a good fit for the brand at this time. And so it kind of worked for the both of us, I get representation and the ability to shoot on this amazing kit, and I help them by spreading the word to people of my demographic and my friends and stuff, so it's been a really, really interesting journey. Like, obviously the actual experience of going there and doing that just blew my mind, and I do not take a minute of it for granted. I was like pinching myself every day. It was just like, this is nuts. And then I was like, cool, when I come home, I just need to speak the language and share what I've learned, basically.
Yeah, wow, that's so incredible. I have to interrupt the telecast. Benny just gifted 7 subs, and then Sly Dog just gifted another 10 on top of that. So the hype in the chat right now, there's a lot of... Glow just said that I'm exploding inside, but I'm just like trying to be really respectful and listen to you as well. I'm like, guys, the hype tonight. This is great. Obviously, they're appreciating the knowledge that you're dropping, and that this is really awesome. Thank you, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Every time there's gifted subs like that, it's hard to explain how much that means. So thank you. Subbies dropping left, right, and center. Yes. We'll save the dance party for a bit later, Betty. But yeah, very much appreciate that. That's such a cool story, though. Like, I think that through all, even my experience with my relationship with Nikon and how that came about, like a lot of that stuff, it is so random. Like, you can't even give advice on how that sort of stuff happens. It's just so random, chance, opportunity.
It is so random chance. And to be quite honest, I was feeling there was a part of me that was feeling very unsupported, in a sense that like, I was like, what, like, a lot of photographers are supported by agencies and agents, and like they put forward jobs and all this kind of stuff, and I was kind of wading through our industry being like, I don't know where I'm sitting. I don't quite know, why I'm not there, or why, I don't know, like it was all over the shop, and it just happened so, naturally, right time, right place kind of moment for me, which, like you said, you can't.
Yeah, I completely relate to that as well. I feel like that when my Zen creator thing came along, I was feeling very much the same, like 10 years in the industry, and like, is anyone even ever going to notice? And agents, like, they're not interested, and you're just like, what? Like, I feel like I'm busting my ass out here. Like, what the hell?
Exactly. Exactly.
Wait, Lady Drewniak, can I steal Dad brand? I know you're savvy, so I figured I'd ask before you sue me for copyright. Dad brand.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god. They're loving your images, by the way, as well. So we're just scrolling through. Do you have a preference for like studio versus kind of like location work these days? What's your What's your vibe usually?
I think that I'm learning studio. Like, to be quite honest, like I've been like I still feel like I'm constantly learning.
That never stops.
Yeah, I
I
just
feel like that all the time.
yeah, I'm kind of like doing, like I love street photography, and that's where that's where I started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reading the pulse of the street. I love the randomness. I love the adrenaline. I love that you can't plan anything. I love that you walk out and you have to look at the light and make the decision when you're out there, and like, I love that shit.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like having to completely flip it and go, wow, I'm in a very controlled environment. I'm crazy. I need to like learn how to be far more calculated and, just understanding light. Like,
Yeah.
like me, at the end of the day, photography is about understanding light. And I'm like, this is a type of light that I don't really understand or get. So I need to throw down some time in this area.
Yeah.
I've been doing a bit of studio work, playing with 1 lights, 2 lights, gels, all sorts of stuff. A lot of the time it's very experimental, and I'm like happy accidents all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. That's
I'm like, I did that. I don't know if I could do it again, but I did that.
basically just summed up my entire experience in working in the studio. That's me to a T. Just trial and error. Oh yeah, that looks cool.
I get, I get inspired by other photographers. I'm mad on Pinterest. I'm like, what's happening? What are people doing? How do I play? There are so many like websites with how-tos, YouTube tutorials, all sorts. I'm like, also, I ask questions. I'm like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to be like, could you show me? Or like, if other photographers, I'd be like, what would your lighting setup be in this moment?
Like, what would... is such a good point, because I've had a lot of people say, I love your studio work or what, but I don't ever get asked. Like, I'm often offering to say, I'll show you how to do this really simple thing that I learned over the last kind of 5 years, but there's not many people that ask. Like, just ask the question. I'd be happy to show a bunch of stuff, you know.
But on that, by the way, the sharing of knowledge thing, I find with photography, it's a testament to your character as well, by the way, is the fact that like I'm the type of person that likes to share knowledge.
Same.
I don't hold it on my chest and go, piss off, learn it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that kind of wants to go, well, this is what I've learned. Let's share or help another person work it out, because I know that I'm getting that from someone else over here.
Yeah. Also, so like, I think because I never had it. Like, I just didn't feel like there was anyone that wanted to share that information. So I'm very passionate about, like, maybe you can say 5 years of fumbling around, like, that I had to do,
totally.
fast track somebody's career.
I think it's our generation doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think you definitely get to a point. I mean, it's hard at the start because it can be really competitive. So I do think you probably need to be at a point where you're happy with your career and you're comfortable and you're not threatened and all that sort of stuff. But and what up to Cause and Effects? Thank you so much for the raid and also for the subby. Appreciate it very much. You rock. That's very cool. But yeah, I mean, this the whole point of this Twitch community essentially is like trying to share the knowledge that I've got over the last 10 years and try and fast track some people through and try and get some more women shooting and all of those things that there's like the big gap in what we're doing still to this day. So
yeah, I totally agree. I think you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing.
Doing great, sweetie. We're going to get into a couple of fun stories. I know you definitely will have some maybe wild tour stories or something that you can share, but what's the first thing that pops in to your head? What up, Alias? Nice to see you here as well.
Okay, the wildest thing that kind of happened to me was when I was on tour with Tiger Lily. We were in Miami for Miami Music Week. I reckon I was 25. And she was probably 20. So at 25, by the way, I still felt like a kid. And I'm like, am I allowed to be here? Like, is this... And I had this 20-year-old looking at me like I was like, you know, the super responsible human. I was like, this is hectic, but like embracing it, and I'm going to go for it. But basically, she was hit up on Twitter by this Italian rapper called Fedez. And I'm not sure whether you guys know who he is. I personally had no idea who he was, but he is like a pretty big deal over there.
Amazing.
Now, basically what happened was there became this kind of like Twitter hype because he was like, I want to take this chick Dara, which is Tiger Lily, out on a date in Miami. And there was like all the newspapers started picking up on it, and it was like, and Dara was going, I don't know who this guy is. I'm not doing no dates. Then all of like the major like EDM like artists like Benny Benassi, Calvin Harris, Carnage all started jumping on this like, so there was just like this fiasco around it all, right? To the point where Dara and I were walking down the street and Fedez rocks up in this like sports car. I've never seen anything like this sports car.
Sports car. That's so funny. That's something that I would say I'd have no idea what type of car.
A fast car that's red.
It was red, yeah.
And was like yelling out the window to Dara, being like, baby, I'm taking you out on a date. Like, da-da-da. And I was like...
Fucking Italians, by the way.
Like, so Italian. Anyway, they ended up...
I can say that.
Yeah, you can. We ended up going on a date with this guy I'm chaperoning. And I'm like, it was so paparazzi, the drama around it all. This is when like my socials blew up, was because all of a sudden I had these photos of these two like making out in a car, and I was like, everyone was just like, this is just like mental. We couldn't walk anywhere without people stopping us and asking for photos, and it was just like hectic. I've never experienced anything like it.
I had no idea about that story. That's crazy. So they actually went out on a date and they got to a point of making out. Like, so there obviously was there a vibe, or like was she just like, chemistry?
But like,
I love it.
English is a second language for Fedez, so like half the time I was like, Dara, do you know what he's saying? Because he's telling to everybody else, and like just fragmented words to her. I'm like, I don't really understand what's happening.
Yes, that's so funny.
Like, but I'm just trying to keep this human safe.
Jack just said you need European for that to work. I feel like that's actually a thing. Like, it would work for an Italian for sure, but it might not work for anyone else. It's hilarious.
They ended up dating for a very short period of time, and he ended up getting a private jet from Italy to Sydney. As you do, to go on. It was just so extra. It was just too extra. I was just like,
super extra. I feel like at that time I saw you in quite a few extra situations where I'm like, what is your life now, babe? Like, what has happened? This is crazy.
I don't know. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's wild.
A lot of fun.
What about like crazy parties or anything like that? Was there any like situations that you're in where you're like, what the hell? What is this? Where am I at the moment?
So yeah, Miami was like probably the most mental type of party. Oh my god. So she won a DJ competition. I forget the name of it. And Tiesto became her kind of like a mentor. Tiesto, Adagio for strings, guys.
Wow.
And we ended up at a party, and it's literally like what you see in Vegas movies, where it's like bottle service, people in like underwear holding up your name on place cards, and like pyrotechnics inside the club, and like just nuts. And you know, there's Tiesto and there's Calvin Harris and Skrillex and Diplo, and you're just kind of like, whew. is going on?
Wow. Yeah, Buffy just said, I love you because you're still a lovable jock. You didn't get up yourself. Yeah, man, the girl from Adelaide is absolutely not going to get up herself. Are you serious? Are you serious right now? Like that? And I'm from the country as well. It's like, it's not like we're jocks for life. Like it's just,
I can't take it out of me, man.
You can't take it out of me. We're just
if anything, I have to be like, just be professional. Be professional. They don't know that you're dying inside.
Yes, professional. Yeah, absolutely. Benny just said, has anyone seen the Friendly Geordies video about Stereosonic? That Tiesto mentioned made me lost my shit. I haven't seen that video, but I can kind of imagine.
Oh, I haven't seen it either, but like, that's a pretty dark part of my past. I'm like, whoa.
I always said, yeah, don't get up yourself. Yeah, mate. You got to stay humble. You got to stay humble over here. What about career highlights for you at this point of your very illustrious career?
Probably the biggest show, for example, that I ever shot was John Newman at the O2 Arena in London. That felt pretty special just due to sheer size of how many people were there. That was pretty special. Also, speaking on a panel for Leica was also a pinch me moment.
Yeah,
I know.
That's wild.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I was the only chick on the panel, and I was talking about fashion and music, and I had people over here talking about astrology and architecture over here, and I was like, this is what I know, and this is what I've experienced, and this is how I use the equipment and stuff like that. But I found that I was so shit nervous. I was so nervous.
I'm sure you killed it.
Thank you. But yeah, that was like a highlight for me. I was like, just like you were talking about before, working so hard and finally being recognized for it, and the opportunity to have a voice, I suppose, was pretty special.
Yeah, it's such a nice feeling too, I think, when, people can see you at a moment in your career and go, oh, wow, you worked with all these people, but like they don't see the years and years and years of like grinding and going to gigs that no one gives a shit about, and like venues with 10 people, and just the full on, when nobody knows who you are, no one cares who you are, like years and years and years of grinding. So I completely relate to that, when there's a moment where you can just kind of sit back and go, wow, like, yeah, I did that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. I just think that like when you work for yourself and when you're a freelancer, it's like you don't stop to smell the roses a lot. I'm literally like, what's the next job? What am I hustling, chasing the next goal, blah blah blah. So those were moments when I just, like you said, just sat back and went, oh, I'm doing all right. I'm all right.
Doing all right. Yeah, I think 2020 was a big like, we have to, like, a forced pause. Actually, speaking on that, how did you cope? Because I know we're very similar in our energies of constantly hustling and what the next job is. And for me, it all transferred to Twitch. So
you channeled it.
I channeled it, babe. I could not sit at home and do nothing. Yeah. So what up, Sanju? I just saw you in the chat as well. Yeah, how did you channel that anxious energy?
So, but I actually did the slowdown. I kind of like, first of all, it was incredibly stressful. Not only just from like a hustling perspective, but like, a financial perspective, the realities of like living in Carlton and not working, and, and I'm sure everybody felt the same thing. And then, the hustling, the lack of jobs, and also I shoot music, I shoot fashion, I do have some really boring corporate stuff that I do that I don't usually tell people. And when kind of like all the pillars started to crumble, I started to get really worried, because I first went, oh, that's all good, I'll just jump into some fashion stuff over here, and then that went, and then I was like, oh, I've got my Grand Prix over here, and then that crumbled, and then Telstra, I was like, oh my god, and now my Telstra corporate client is just cancelled.
Yeah.
a 6-month contract. I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's buckle in, and like the reality kind of settled in. But for me, I slowed down. I really got amongst nature within my 5 kilometers.
Our little 5K radius that we were stuck to for 7
I know
months.
every park, every building. I'm actually kind of lucky that I live within the Melbourne CBD radius, because I've never seen so many sunrises in my life, to be honest, than last year. Sorry. I got up and walked and watched the season change through the Melbourne CBD, which was pretty fucking special. I can now let you know at what time, when the sun hits a certain building.
Wow.
If we need to shoot something, I'll be like, I know where we need to be at that time, because it's like my senses that get so blocked with noise of social media and work and money and relationships and all kind of shit was all stripped back. And I was just looking at like what was in front of me in a very stripped back, simple form, and really in tune. It's really hard to explain. I felt like I know this might sound weird, but my sense of hearing and sight became incredibly heightened. The way that I would look at light.
Were you on the mushies, mate? What?
Yeah, was I on the mushies? No, I just like
Sorry.
actually slept for 6 months.
Yeah. Just actually paused. I love that.
I didn't set an alarm at any point. I was just a really rested human and maybe like bored.
Oh my god. Welcome to everybody that's just joined the chat as well. We've got a bunch of new people. Sanju, welcome. Chris Hoang, is it? Thomas Faux Noodles, welcome to the chat. I didn't see you guys before. Ash had a great question I want to ask, because I missed her question before, but it's kind of on the same topic. But Alex, how do you go about getting those more corporate clients when you are promoting music and fashion? That's a great question, because I have often talked about showing the clients or showing the work that you want to get. Like if I had say corporate clients, like I would never show that on my website, or I wouldn't show it on my Instagram. Are you the same, or do you like to show a mixture, or how do you go about getting those clients?
Well, I think first of all, it can be quite confusing when we like to be a photographer full time. Until you're a complete and utter artist that just does one thing, you need to be quite versatile. You need to be a little bit all rounded. You need to be able to not necessarily shoot all the cool stuff all the time. I kind of just was quite like, even when you look at the tabs on my website, was really calculated with what I wanted to show there. The corporate stuff I have present in another way through PDFs that I send directly to a client, and I go, by the way, I know that I'm doing this fun, loud stuff over here, but I'm really trained in this department as well. And then it's also the conversation that you have with the client. You just explain your professionalism, and you just show a different tone of voice when you're in those kind of chats. And I've done I've like done jobs for Bunnings and like.
Yeah, same. I've done those corporate. I've done the Optus, or the 4-day conferences that you're sitting there listening to marketing. Like, I've done all of that stuff. Like,
same conferences, Swinburne University, like all of these. Yeah,
but I think that's really great advice in terms of having a separate PDF that you can just shoot off to people and say, by the way, I do this work. Or I've done that via Dropbox before, saying here's a collection of images, or just some way that you can show kind of that work if you wanted to show it.
Yeah, definitely.
Please feel free to drop some questions if you've got other questions for Alex as well. So did they give you a Bunnings stag though? That's the most important question about working for Bunnings.
They gave me one of the hats with the strings. What are they? Those straw hats with the string.
Hell yeah, representing Bunnings. Jack said, hey Alex, do you think there's a similar skill set to do this corporate stuff as live music, or do you think you change your mindsets going into those two things completely?
Oh, that is a very good question. Sometimes I do think that they are different mindsets, but for example, some corporate stuff that I've done, Adelta Goodrum does a stage performance, and then like, okay, cool. So I implement that knowledge that I've learned from there and I do it over there. And also, I feel like sometimes the crossover is really important because of like my knowledge in like fashion, for example. I've applied some of that look and feel to a corporate job, or applied a more feminine touch to a corporate job, and the client, happy with the mood, like, and just showcasing it slightly different. I feel like, you're looking out for different things, but you do cross over with, or you bring a stylistic approach maybe from one thing to the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I have definitely felt that, and I think that there's actually a lot of crossover with different forms of photography. I think like wedding photography and live music actually match up really well in terms of just you don't really have control over what's happening. You're just purely documenting, and there's different light changes, and there's lots of people, and like all that sort of stuff. That those two things kind of
definitely
translate.
Like, and if you miss a moment, you miss a moment, and it
could be a really important moment.
Like there's an adrenaline component. I feel like a similarity between those two. Definitely. Reading the play.
Betty's just said, when you say corporate photography, what do you mean? What does it entail?
Corporate stuff for me generally means the type of client, and that is also the kind of event, I suppose, the type of people that are attending, the kind of people, the people that you're rubbing shoulders with, and the way that you present yourself as well. I don't wear my oversized baggy, t-shirts and my Nikes. I'm dressed in my all blacks, looking quite, professional and sleek, and it's just it's a different hat you put on, I reckon.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I would say, exactly the same thing. It's like often conferences or events that are attached to a corporate client. So I used to do all kinds of like boardroom events. Sometimes even like headshots can fall into that corporate work where you're doing like you're turning out headshots.
And you've got a CEO, and you have to be like.
And the corporate world usually pays really well, as complete opposite to the music industry. So usually.
That's why we need to do both.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, exactly. Jack said, thanks for the answer. Follow-up question, what is your goal when framing your shooting live? Or is it simple as this will look artsy? Or is it more complex of what you want the shot to convey? So when you're shooting live music stuff.
Okay, so to be quite honest, I roll in with an idea straight away, and there are a few shots that are key shots that, for example, the artist wants. They want a wide, they want a tight, they want an emotion, and they want a scale of how big the audience is that they're performing. And I know where these moments are, whether it's because I've shot the venue before or and it's kind of ingrained in me, and I know don't move until I get that shot. Like, get that shot, and then I get to ad lib, and then I get to be creative, and then I, shoot through things, or I put crystals on the end of the lens, or then I'm waiting for like the most unique moments where, and like Michelle, you would know, where it's like crying or jumping or screaming or interacting with the crowd, and like. But I do go in with I know what my foundation is and the key moments that I need to get, and then I go wild.
Yeah.
Free reign.
Yeah, I would say, I completely relate to that. My thinking is very similar in that you get what you need to get at the start, and then go super creative, and especially on tour, actually, like. The first couple of tour shows, you get the shots, that you've documented the tour really well, and then you can start to get really creative and try different lenses and try different like techniques and all that sort of stuff. once you've got, you know, the base of what the client would like, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I also think that, like, for example, when I shoot a music festival like Beyond the Valley, there are so many artists. It's like it's impossible to be goddamn creative every single time, you know, when you're shooting from 11 a.m. through till sometimes all the way through till like 3 a.m. So you're like, grab what you need and hopefully like the most creative stuff happens later, or I'll pick an artist who I particularly would love to play around with, experiment with, you know, but like it's
yes, absolutely.
Yes, it's a lot about get the shot.
Get the shot, yeah. Mafia said those shots in Marvel Stadium for R&B Fridays. Fuck!
Babe, you were there!
So good. I'm actually looking at a photo of Mos Def, which was at Soulfest. I was here as well. I've got a shot in my folio of Mos Def. Do you remember how crazy that event was? That was such a... There was all these artists that they never thought that we would get to Australia that came, and it was just like...
Yeah. Common. Who else?
D'Angelo.
Lauryn Hill.
I remember it was the lineup. I remember that Americans were seeing the lineup going, what the fuck? Which never happens because we always have like nobody ever.
Yeah.
They were just like, wait, why is this? There was like a list, like it was 10 or 12 amazing artists. Mafia just said shitstorm. It was definitely a shitstorm. Absolute shitstorm. And I remember it sounded really bad, like especially for D'Angelo. The sound was like terrible, which was such a shame. But who else was there?
That was the first year I actually moved to Melbourne. So to be honest, I don't remember much about the sound because I was like, don't mess this up.
Totally.
I was like concentrating so much.
It was like Jill Scott was there.
Scott, man, yes.
I have to. It was honestly just like back to back, like incredible artists from the start to the finish. Like it was a really, really wild, huge lineup. But it was a shitstorm, and I think they went like bust the next year when they tried to do the same thing again. Like typical, like, you know, hip-hop kind of festival in Australia just always goes to shit, like, without a doubt. There's always, like, some...
There's just been so many that have, like, fallen apart. It's a shame.
Yeah, there's always, like, some dodgy promoter that, like, you know...
Yeah.
Do you remember, what was the one that used to be... Mafia, you'll remember this. The festival that was, like... It used to be the big hip-hop festival and it went completely broke. It was, like, a...
Quite well known. I remember that happened. It was like
I can't remember the name of it, but it was like huge. It was the first festival I actually shot. I shot for Naughty by Nature like years and years ago, 2012 or something. That's actually a hilarious story because it was the first festival I shot and I didn't know the process, like how you're meant to apply. So it was Superfest. Yes. Oh my God, Superfest.
Oh my God.
So I just tweeted Naughty by Nature. I was like, yo, do you need a photographer? And they were like, yeah. Like so friggin' random.
Yeah, but I also, dude, I've done the same. I slide into the DMs. Have you got coverage? I would love to shoot. Check out my stuff. What do you know, blah. Yeah,
shoot your shot. Like, absolutely. Like, I'm a big supporter of that. It just slid into the DMs. Betty just... Not like that, Betty. Hashtag professionalism here.
Yeah, I'm like, here's my portfolio.
By the way, I'm super cute, but here's my portfolio. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But like... No, it is like it definitely. I mean, no, definitely shooting a shot for sure. I never expected to get a message back, but it was like honestly like getting that first festival like in the door and shooting all those artists because once you had a press pass, I just shot the whole festival. Even though that would actually never happen now, by the way. That would never happen. You would shoot for that artist and then you would leave. But back then, I shot the entire festival. So it was like, I can't even remember what it was like. It was like so many, like Chris Brown and The Game and 50 Cent. Like it was just like friggin' everyone. So,
those are the times.
Alias just said Shoot Your Shot is a great photo blog name. That is a great photo blog name, actually.
Yeah, coin that.
You two would get hit on so much on tour. Can I tell you, Mafia? Never. Ever.
I've been hit on a couple of times and I'm like, ugh.
Oh my God. Can someone hit on me? What the fuck? I'm just like old bloody tour mum in the corner over here. Like, Jesus.
Lol. I think I just was wearing like, I think it was just the Dara stuff. I think that everyone was just asphyxiated with her and they were like, but who's that one next to her? If we can't get Dara.
Oh, can we get her? That's hilarious.
I know.
That is hilarious. Betty just said, how come you can slide into someone's DMs and you can get paid work, yet I can't even get a date where I pay after sliding into someone's DMs?
Oh my God, lol.
Mafia just said you both obviously missed my advances. Oh my God, Mafia.
Blushing.
We love you.
We love you. I'll go on a date with you, Mafia.
I'd absolutely go date on Mafia for sure. She is the queen bee of like Melbourne DJ. She is the queen. There's nobody else. Like it's just Mafia.
She's the queen.
100%. Alias is laughing at my tour mum comment, but it is like 100% true. I'm like always the oldest on tour by a million.
As if, babe.
Oh, babe, you're telling me you're just like you're talking about how you're like a nana and you're turning 31. I picked up a camera at 31, so imagine how I feel now.
Dude, that blows my mind. It's just a testament to your skill and talent, yo. Honestly, like
it was just a, I don't know how that happened. Good luck
or
something.
Beforehand.
That's a whole other. That's a whole 30 years. Anna, thank you so much for the subby. You just got 9 months. Just got your 9-month subby jacket. You made it. Yes. Tom's asked a great question. Who are you most inspired by as a photographer? That is a great question.
Oh, that is a great question. And also a hard question because like I don't have like photographers like I love a lot of different styles of photography and I think I get inspired by creative people. Is that an answer?
Yes.
Get inspired by creative people.
So do I.
You know, like people that are really like tapping into their creative and indulge in it, and whether you're an artist or a musician or a photographer, but you're trying something new and really like putting in the effort to, you know, like really tap into that part of your psyche, I suppose, because like I sometimes battle with tapping into that creative part of my world. So anyone that's doing that, I'm like, I like you, and I'm listening to you, and I'm proud of what you're doing, and I find those kind of behaviors inspiring.
Yeah, oh God, I resonate with that so much because I've spoken about this a lot. I don't feel like I'm very conceptual as a photographer. Like I look at other photographers and I'm like, oh my God. But I'm very inspired by people that I can collaborate with, if that makes sense. So like, especially artists that have a really firm idea of direction, because I'm really good at execution. So if you have a concept, I can show you how to bring that to life, and so I get really inspired by artists like that as well. That's so cool.
Big time. I also realize that like being a photographer sometimes is a really lonely path. Like I know that you're like shooting with heaps of people, but like you know, sometimes you're in the studio on your own, and like to be bigger and better, you've got to you've got to work with other people. You need to work with stylists, and you need to work with directors and artists, and like really bring a team together. Like it doesn't all have to be on you.
Yeah.
Like I was seriously feeling like I just did a job recently with an artist friend of mine, Lisa King. She's a mural artist. She's incredible. And she got me to shoot the still life stuff for her that she then painted afterwards. And I was like, never in a million years would I have thought that my photo is important to your part of the creative that's getting painted on this huge wall. And in the creative process, I felt so fulfilled for doing something that was bigger than just this moment, taking a photo.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I've got to do an outfit change because they've redeemed. I know you're not going to understand. You're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? But I need to do a quick outfit change, which is really random. But while we're doing that, are there any other questions that we can get Alex to be answering while I'm doing an outfit change? Because I've run out of questions. I was just about to say goodbye, but if we've got another question, we can do that while I'm changing. But other than that, what's on your horizon for 2021?
Oh God, good question. I'm also sitting in a place at the moment where I don't want to get too excited about 2021, and I don't want to make too many plans purely because everything is so uncertain, and obviously just like the fear from last year is still around a little bit, so I don't want to get too pumped. I think that this year I really want to hone in on my creative and make sure that I keep that stillness inside me to be able to see beauty the way that I have seen it in the last like 6 months, and don't and like lean into that a little bit more rather than like the business side of photography and like making money and stuff like that. I'm like, I was given the opportunity to slow down and be creative and indulge in that side. So I really want to make sure that I still do that and don't get swept back up into the loudness, I suppose, of just like running the business and stuff and that kind of stuff. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this question while I get changed. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I'll be back while you're answering.
God! This question that boyfriend asks you on like a first date. In 5 years, I want to be having the flexibility to travel wherever I want to travel. I want to have my own studio. I would love to be living in like a half residential, half commercial property where I've got my studio space right next to me so that I can just go and get weird whenever I like at whatever time of the morning, night, whatever. In 5 years, I'd love to have done an exhibition of my work. It's something that I'm really thinking about. But the most important thing for me is what's the message and what's the story. Oh, hey, girl.
Hey. Outfit change.
Nice outfit change.
Thank you.
And I think that, I want to look into, like this exhibition side of stuff, printing my work, exhibition stuff, but I also don't want to force that unless I have something to say, if that makes sense. Like that would be maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about it, but I'm not going to just talk shit, print dumb stuff.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
And I'm waiting for that to come to me, you know?
Yeah.
When I'm ready. It will when I'm ready, yeah.
Tom just asked a great question. What's your favourite clothing item from the racks behind you? Do you have a favourite item? That's fun. That's super fun.
Okay, here we go. This jacket.
OMG. Oh, God!
So this jacket was gifted to me by Tiesto's tour manager in Where were we? I think I was in San Francisco.
Oh my god.
And the guy goes, the manager goes to me. Sometimes the tour managers and the managers don't ever get enough credit. He goes, I feel like you're deserving of this jacket. And I was just like, thanks. But like sick, but thanks. But I also like, are you hitting on me or are you just being nice? I'm not too sure.
I love that. That's so cool. We got a great jacket out of it. That's amazing.
So sick. Every time I wear it, he messages me being like, you.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any last questions before we say goodbye? I'm going to hang out on the stream a little bit longer, but we'll let Alex go. We've taken up a lot of your time. I think Benny asked, when are you going to be joining the crew? This is the Twitch crew. You need to officially sign up for a Twitch account and join the crew. It's like this is what happens now.
Well, when I get off the phone, I'll talk to Mish and actually ask her about. I'm like such a goob. I don't even know what Twitch is. Like I know it's like gaming and stuff like that. I'm like I don't even. Don't
say the word gaming around me, Alex.
Okay.
It's a very well known fact in my stream that I am a gamer hater.
Okay.
No, but it is. You're right. It is a gaming platform. It has been historically a gaming platform. We're doing some new and creative stuff as well. Mafia is saying yes, you need to join. There's people like Mafia. Mafia's doing full sets on full DJ sets, which is really cool. Glow said, I love that you answered that from the perspective of let me scroll back. What you want your environment to be like, not what you want to achieve. There's a message in that perspective is everything. That's Glow, you're so awesome. Thank you for picking that up. That's very cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jack just said, not sure if it's been asked. It hasn't. But what is your favourite shot she's taken? I generally avoid that question because I think it's the hardest question in the world to answer. But do you have an answer to that?
No, because I feel like you'll never take your best shot. Like I just constantly feel like the second that you do, you're like chasing the next one or another amazing moment happens. I can't.
Yes. I remember you go, oh my God, I just took the best photo of my career, and then you have another shoot and you're like, oh my God, I just took the best.
I feel like there is never anyone. Like I have ones that I'm proud of and stuff like that, but I don't ever think you'll take your best shot because the next will be
puppies. Yeah, I feel like when you've taken that, there's nothing.
That's
else
it.
There's nothing else to finish. Be proud of them all. I mean, like definitely. There's definitely a lot of photos I'm not proud of.
Oh, dude! I look at like the first blog. I'm like, oh my God. Cannot resurface. But the accountability of it is actually amazing. I like seeing how I've
progressed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. I wanted to thank you for your time. Thank you so much for being so generous and with your time and knowledge and wisdom and all of those things. I really appreciate it. Britt said she's so inspired. Yeah, you have to join the crew now. You 100% have to sign up for a Twitch account, jump in the chat. But yeah, it was really great to because I haven't actually seen you in forever, so it was actually good to see your face and talk to you.
Yeah, totally. Thank you for asking me on. It's wonderful. I feel like a beautiful sense of community. You guys all made me feel really welcomed, and thanks for like following my journey and appreciate it.
And there is a timer that comes up with Alex's website and Instagram. Please drop her a follow as well. I really appreciate if everyone does that. Get you some more follows up there. We're going to say goodbye, guys. I'm going to chat. I'm going to hang around and show you some recent work that I've been doing. But yeah, say goodbye to Alex. Bye, my love.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, babe, I'm hanging up. Mwah.